Good morning, Mike and Arlen. Our Philippine journey. New location, not by choice, I should say. Just to let you know what's going on, backgrounds and everything. Uh, we have a leak, not a leak. I guess maybe the condensate. So here, let's do it like this. Our condo is 120 square meters, two bedrooms, two full bathrooms, living, dining, and an island, kitchen, the whole 9 yards. And with that being said, our master bedroom has a split air unit. In fact, we have split air units in every unit, every room, and the condensation line for that unit is apparently blocked. Noticed it the other day. All of a sudden, there was water. We moved the curtains, and sure enough, the paint was peeling. All of this was behind the curtains. We couldn't even see it. We didn't even know there was a problem. So, shut that unit off. We have moved into the spare bedroom, my office, which is the normal background or green screen that you see. But I'm not going to put a green screen up in the middle of my living room. That's for sure. I'm not going to move it up and down. You're going to have to deal with the things the way they are. We'll have to wait for everything to dry out. Then we'll have to sand the walls, then re-skim coat them, then repaint. And in the meantime, we'll also have to get to the bottom of what's causing this condensation to not drain. So that's where we're at. Long distance relationships. Why many of you that are into long distance relationships will probably fail. And I think it's important that guys start to recognize this. Be more proactive. You know what? The LDRs are not uncommon at all. And yet, what is common are the failures that I run into all of the time. And that is not an understatement. I cannot tell you how many men I've run into that I've sat down and talked with, and they've said, "Oh, you know what? I came over, I met this girl online. We had this, 6 month, 12 month, 18 month LDR, and got here, and it was a complete failure. And so many different ways. I mean, from scam all the way to just incompatibility. And they ended up, being on their own for a while at least. So, we should consider thinking about, as men, where do we fail in these LDRs? You know, I think that and I'm not knocking long distance relationships by any way, shape, and this might be a little wobbly. I'm on the dining room table and I prop my arms up and everything. But I'm not discounting LDRs. There are many successful long distance relationships, but the vast majority of them are going to have difficulties, and a large number will fail. Um, you know, it comes down to a couple of very basic things, and I'm not even going to go into them. It's not my place to tell you why relationships fail. I can't tell you from experience why an LDR, because I've never had an LDR that failed. So I can't even give you an experience and say that I can talk to you comfortably about that. But what I can tell you about is humans. All right. We are social creatures by habit. It doesn't matter how many people want to be alone. All right. But by habit, we are brought up as social creatures. And that encourages us to continue to look for these things. And that is a big problem. The problem with that is we don't want to be alone. And who does? I mean, certainly there are people, and you know what? I'll give you perfect examples. There are men, and you may very well be one of them, that through circumstances beyond your control, all right, or by which it was shared problems, you got screwed over. And you got screwed over in your relationship with your previous partner. You got screwed over in your relationship with your family. You got screwed over in business. You got screwed over. All of this tends to make us a little bit bitter. And so when we think we find something, we tend to latch onto it. And that's the brunt of what I'm saying here. Do not be afraid to move on. Never. Never be afraid of that. Never discount it. You know what? If you're in a long distance relationship and your gut tells you there is something wrong, odds are there's something wrong. If you are going to move forward and you're going to invest time and money, you'd better really be sure about what's going on. Do not put your eggs all in one basket. That's for sure. I don't care how that sounds. I just know that as a matter of fact, things are not always what they seem to be. So when we as men tend to have these issues, we tend to latch on to that little golden rainbow. And that is a failure on your part. You should not do that. We should not do that. We should keep our mind open to the situations and to the circumstances and to understanding that not everything is what it seems to be. And I'm not saying that it's their fault. I'm saying that it is just natural. There is going to be a communication disparity here. There's going to be a bridge that you have to get across, that you understand exactly what it is that they understand. That's the first issue. The second issue is it even real? So many scams. I mean, the numbers just go up and up and up. It's a full-time business. Don't think it's anything less than that. It is big business. Romance scams are a huge business. And, you would think there's a school that these people go to, because not all of them are girls, my friends. Not at all. You'd be surprised how many men have been fooled by that. But not all of them are girls. But you would think it's a school that says how to screw over the guy on the other end of that phone conversation. And I'm not going to go into all the red flags because you already know it. Nobody in this day and age does not recognize the basics of the red flags of these long distance relationships. The bottom line with all of that is never, ever be so hurt that you have to hold on. Believe in yourself, believe in your worth, believe in your value as an individual, all right, and move on. You'll find what you're looking for eventually. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, But in the meantime, you've got to keep your options available. And one of those options is in your mind. Don't be afraid to move on. Don't drag it out. The faster, the sooner. As soon as it's not going in the right direction for you, move on. All right? Don't be beholden to the first person that comes out there. Don't be beholden to the person that shows you a little bit of affection or interest, and that you ignore all of those red flags. You've got to be a man and stand up. You really and truly do. It's just that this has recently come up as a significant issue that came into a conversation not long ago that I had with an expat. And so, it's kind of like maybe you need to be reminded that it doesn't matter what life was like yesterday. Today is the first chapter of the rest of your life. That's really the way it starts. And you need to be aware. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on relationships. Don't give up on anything. As a human being, you don't want to be alone, and nobody should fault you for that. That's for sure. So, I don't know. You tell me what you think. I know that there are a lot of great long-distance relationships that have been worked out, but I know that there are a lot that haven't. And I want you to look deep inside yourself and say, how butthurt am I over what's happened to me in the past? Does it put me automatically on the defensive? Is my self-worth at risk? Has it been at risk? Don't do that. You're worth way more than you think you are. I don't mean financially or anything like that. All right? So, we hope you're having a great day. Our air conditioner is foobarred. It's been raining for 2 weeks now, and it's still going to be raining. And this is going to be where I'm at for probably the next 2 to 3 weeks before we can get everything where we need to be. So I apologize. We hope you have a great day. Be safe.